one more story, which we're going to talk about. The Canadian VISP, the Vaccine Injury Support Program, which has been doing wonders, not fulfilling its, I don't know if it was created by statute, but not fulfilling its raison d'etre, which is to provide services for the vaccine injured. I don't know what they're up to right now in terms of how many payouts they've issued. It's an effing joke. It's always been an effing joke. They did not even announce the existence or publicize the existence of this Vaccine Injury Support Program, which was created. When was VISP created? It was created in conjunction with the COVID jab. It was officially launched on June 1st, 2021, Canada Day, ironically enough, and will provide financial support to people in Canada in the rare event that they experience a serious permanent injury as a result of receiving a Health Canada authorized vaccine administered in Canada on or after December 8, 2020. It was basically created exclusively for the COVID jab. I shan't call it a vaccine. It's been a joke from the get-go. Like, they've been denying claims or putting people through the loops, the hoops, whatever the hell, indefinitely. And the one that I know of personally is Sean Hartman's father, Dan Hartman, whose son died from the COVID jab 33 days after getting the Pfizer shot, after having been hospitalized in conjunction with the shot. If you don't know the story, you must be new to the channel. It won't go into the details. Answers for Sean is what his dad created to try to get answers for his son. His son died 33 days after receiving his first Pfizer COVID jab. He was hospitalized like within days of getting it. Orange bags under his eyes, pain in his shoulder, sent home. There was no troponin test done, no D-dimer test done. Medical malpractice, if not worse, in my humble opinion. Sent home, aspirin, 33 days later, dead. Sean's father, Dan, is suing Pfizer. He sued the government. The government got out of the case on some, bullshit government technicality. Dan has been denied or has not gotten an answer from his Vaccine Injury Support Program application for the death of his son. I'm going to play this and pause it as we go through it because it's absolutely unbelievable what finally Global News is reporting. Dan Hartman says, Answers for Sean, at his @Answers for Sean Twitter handle. Well, we know why they haven't made a decision on Sean's claim more than 2 years after appealing. I guess I forget now the details. They rejected his claim. They said there was no scientific evidence for it. He had to go out and get expert opinions that showed that there were spike proteins in his glands that was done in a necropsy. They denied his claim. The kid was 17 years old, died 33 days after his Pfizer shot, after having been hospitalized from that Pfizer toxic jab, and they denied his claim, and he's appealing it. 2 years later, no answer. They're too busy drinking slushies, playing ping pong, and let's not forget Drinking Fridays. Hey, RCMP ONT, that's RCMP Ontario. Perhaps it's time for full investigation. Perhaps it's time to interview a father whose child has died instead of the people who are still alive. Some people have more guts than others. And then he tagged me, and I'm glad he did because I saw this. This was a report coming from Global News. Propagandists finally being forced to address this situation. Listen to this.
I didn't feel like I was there to work. I felt like I was there to kind of hang out and socialize.
This former employee, whose identity we have agreed to protect for fear of repercussions, says working at the Vaccine Injury Support Program felt like high school.
Fear of repercussions. Interesting. Fear of repercussions for calling out the fact that the Vaccine Injury Support Program is doing jack squat, or that the jab is actually worse than any government official is telling us. And if that's the reason why they have to blur out this guy's voice and name and whatever, what level of undue pressure do they put on medical professionals to not disclose to the public what everybody in Canada and on Earth knew was going on behind the closed doors of the ER? I met someone biking who worked in the healthcare profession, started telling me about it. It's like, everybody knows. It's black and white. Everybody knows something is wildly wrong. And it's like, do you want to come on my channel and talk about it? The person says, hell no, I don't want to lose my job.
There was definitely no shortage of phones out, watching YouTube. The slushy machine was cool. Ping pong was definitely a regular thing.
The federal government hired a company called Oxaro to run the program and paid them $50.6 million. Global News spoke with more than a dozen current and former Oxaro employees, whose comments included working there was a joke, with drinking Fridays, inexperienced, underpaid staff who weren't properly trained.
I don't think anyone actually understood the severity or the relevance of the program that was being contracted to the firm.
The Vaccine Injury Support Program, or VISP, was created to provide financial support to people who are seriously and permanently injured by vaccines.
Pause it there, by the way. This is just it's an accident of government, right? Government inefficiency is not a bug; it's a feature. And this undertrained, ill-equipped, half-assed staff. Well, what's the fringe benefit that the government gets? Not very many VISP payouts, so they get to say, look how few people were vaccine injured. The VISP has barely paid anything out. Well, we'll play this. I'm going to go find out how much the VISP has paid out to vaccine injured Canadians.
People like Ross Whiteman.
They're just doing a piss poor job of supporting the vulnerable.
A former commercial pilot and realtor, Ross was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome after receiving his COVID vaccine, a rare but recognized side effect.
Rare but recognized. First of all, GBS is a potential adverse event from any vaccine, bona fide vaccine, from any foreign body entering the human body. Sometimes the system goes haywire and attacks your own nervous system as opposed to the foreign body. I had a family member, not an immediate family member, but someone who might not want me providing details of a family member, who got GBS from a viral infection. And it's hell on earth. Your body turns into a cement casket, and it's wild. But it can happen from any viral infection. It can happen from any jab, because anything foreign entering the body responds, and sometimes it responds by attacking its own its own what the hell's its own nerves.
His claim was among the first to be approved by VISP. And yet 4 years later, every day is a fight against his body and the program.
At the moment, I'm probably out about $25,000.
In its policy for VISP, the public
by the way,
health
free healthcare, everybody. Free. Universal healthcare.
Agency of Canada said the injured will have fair and timely support. But Ross Whiteman waited nearly a year and a half while unable to work for a full injury payout, 3 more months for income replacement, and still regularly battles the program for his medical expenses.
It could take a month. It could take 12 months.
Some former workers say there was no sense of urgency.
There was an amount of work you were expected to finish,
Every day.
and you weren't hitting those targets.
No, probably well below.
Probably well below.
What was lost in the program were the people.
They were merely names on paper, nothing more than that.
Today, Ross Whiteman is on his 7th case manager. He's lost his health, his savings, and perhaps worst of all, he's lost hope.
We're such a small group of people. I just feel like it's on to the next one.
In a statement, Oxaro said this is a new program, and it aims to provide a process that ensures all cases are treated fairly and with the same care, respect, and due diligence. It says its timelines depend on each case's nature and complexity. Carolyn Jarvis, Global News.
In other words, bullshit, by the way. So just taking from the AI overview, which tends to get good aggregate information on this, based on recent reports, Canada's Vaccine Injury Support Program, VISP, has paid out $16.9 million to injured Canadians as of July 2025. Important to note the context. The government has paid $50 million to the program, Oxaro Inc. One report mentions $56.2 million. We'll call it $50 million. A significant portion of this amount, $33.7 million, has been spent on administrative costs. As of December 2024, the program had paid out $16.6 million to 209 people. The $16.9 million figure is more recent. Assume that's as accurate as it is as of now. They give this VISP program $50 million. And this government contractor takes the 50 and spends 33 million on administrative costs. This is how you get your ass bitten. This is how you get burnt when you support charities and you find out, holy shit, how much or how little of every dollar I've given you are you spending on the actual end goal of this charity and not administrative costs? How much is the CEO getting paid? Well, let me go see that here. The company is Oxaro. How much does the CEO of Oxaro get paid? That might be limited because it's a government. How much does the CEO of Oxaro Inc. get paid? Let's see if we can get an answer for this. It's going to go to AI overview, so take it with a grain of salt. His name is Marco Perron. The provide search do not contain information about his salary. An estimated average of a salary, or whatever, is 1.2 million. The average salary for Oxaro and other positions is approximately $60,000 to $83,000 per year. These figures are not for the CEO position. 60 to 83 grand Canadian. It's not bad. They give him $50 million. They spend 33 million on administrative fees, so they get paid for their jackassery. They have paid out 209 injured Canadians. Do you think that there were only 209 Canadians injured by the vaccine, the jab? The answer is a resounding effing no. And you can even go by the stats of the Kieran Moores and just go 1 in 5,000 per dose getting myocarditis and figure out how many Canadians, young Canadians, that translates into. They get paid to jerk themselves off all day long. They then don't pay out any vaccine injury in any meaningful sense. 209 is a drop in the bucket. The government gets to say, look how little they paid out. That's how safe and effective this toxic jab is. And the cycle of corruption and money laundering of taxpayer dollars continues. It's not a bug, people. It's the feature of government, and it's the feature of a socialist government in particular. And then meanwhile, Dan Hartman, Sean Hartman's father, how many years now we're out of this, is fighting with them. He doesn't, as far as I surmise, probably doesn't care about the money at this point. He wants the recognition that the jab killed his son. Whether or not that would make for more probative evidence in the civil lawsuit, who knows? Whether or not the government is delaying this case to not give him the finding that the kid, Sean Hartman, died from the jab because it would help in his lawsuit against Pfizer, one can only guess. But one can take some reasonably educated guesses. So that's that.